Our coverage of tonight's Detroit mayoral race between incumbent Mike Duggan and Senator Coleman Young II continues right now. And you remember, it is the first and the only debate that will be happening before the November election, which means it was their big shot tonight to get their message out.
Yeah. All right, tonight we're joined by Aaron Call, Director of Debate at the University of Michigan. Aaron, thanks for joining us, first of all. All right, so talk to me about the strategy of the two men in this one and only debate, especially when you have an incumbent in office. Can be difficult for the challenger. Was it tonight for Coleman Young II?
Definitely. The incumbent has a lot of advantages. They have a record for the last term to run on, a lot of financial advantages, and I thought that Mayor Duggan did an excellent job of talking about Lansing, kind of an outsider, someone just in the state Senate versus someone in the city, getting things done, working on a bipartisan way to do so, and so you saw some of those advantages tonight.
And he did make a lot of references to Senator Young not being there for many votes, and they were taking this sort of passive-aggressive jab strategy.
Yes, and we saw that in the presidential debate. Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, there was a big discussion about that, of kind of an absentee politician and someone that wasn't there, and I thought he used that very effectively, and Coleman Young never had a good retort to not being there, and I think some of the fact-checking bears that out. It missed about 29% of the votes. And
one of the things he kept referring to was possible FBI investigations of Mike Duggan, and Duggan pushback certainly against that, as you would expect he would.
Yeah, and again, some similarities to the last presidential cycle with Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, whether or not she was under investigation as we got to the voting booth. And that's something that he really doubled down on tonight. You saw it a lot in the advertisements, and out of all the things he pushed, that was the one that probably came up most frequently. I think in some ways, kind of wishing that this will go somewhere before Election Day, because that's the kind of thing that may be needed to change the dynamics of this race.
And it seemed as though Mr. Young had a passionate appeal. I mean, we saw him really talking into the camera as if he were speaking to people about neighborhoods and what needs to be done outside of just downtown and midtown. He was making a plea to Detroiters. Would he have benefited from a live audience?
No question, and that's something he said immediately after the debate. A lot of the rules that were agreed to, they really helped the incumbent. I mean, a live studio audience, I think, would have gotten a lot of good immediate feedback, and he would have fed off of that energy like you saw in some of the other previous debates, and a lot of other things. If there was a little bit more exchange rather than just 30-second, minute follow-ups, if they could have kind of gone back and forth with each other, if the debate would have been another 30 minutes, if there would have been 3 debates instead of 1 debate, a lot of those things would have really benefited him, but you have to do with the best you can, and he made the most he could in that just 60 minutes.
It's difficult, I guess, to assess the effectiveness of a debate, though, especially in this case. It's a one and only, and Election Day, November 7th. Can the challenger in this case, did he make enough of an impact in your mind to maybe change what voters' perceptions are of this race?
Unfortunately, I don't think so, and it's a little bit too late. And there's just one debate. It occurred so late in the process and so close to Election Day. Early voting is kind of already underway, and so looking back at the results from the primary, there's just too much ground to make up. And a good debate can give you a few points, but when you're looking at 20, 30 points, a major margin like that, you can't do something in an hour to change it.
And you had Mayor Duggan calling examples like of people in the city and numbers and people you can call to speak to you. I mean, obviously, you feel like that worked to his advantage.
Yeah, he did a great job of retail politicking, talking about, I've been all over the state, and this person has benefited from this particular job, and they were doing something and now doing something else. Some of the bipartisan things he did, working with both Jesse Jackson, but then also he talked about Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, and so he did a great job of using those advantages of the incumbency, talking about bipartisanship outreach, and that's something that is what people want to do. They don't think government's working, and so he did a great job of saying that I can try to break through those things. We've done a lot, but there's a lot more to do, and that's why you should elect me for one more term.
Great. Interesting to see Senator Young, too, reference his father and talk about...
Very popular.
Yeah.
Try to use that to his advantage. We're out of time tonight. Aaron, thank you very much. Aaron Call from the University of Michigan, the Director of Debate, joining us to dissect this debate between Mayor Mike Duggan and the challenger Coleman Young II. We'll send it back over now to Dave Rexroth.
Hey, you tell the professor there's no debate. It's cold tomorrow, all right?